Hey, today I can finally talk to you about the Samyang 35-150 f2-2.8 for L mounts. Yes, Samyang joined the L mount family, the alliance, and this is great because it gives us more flexibility, versatility, and also a different price range for our cameras. The maximum aperture is f2 at 35mm and f2.8 at 150mm, and the minimum aperture is f16 at 35mm and f22 at 150mm. Now this is great. For example, I shot a wedding the other day and I used this lens. It is actually not that big. When you're in a wedding and you're anyways using, for example, I'm using an SL2s from Leica, it is a big camera. It is anyways a bigger package. And once you get used to using this, it's not such a big deal. In fact, I used it for the outside, the outdoor activities, and it was great because you could simply just, zoom all the way to 150 when I normally use a 24-70. So that did give me a bigger flexibility. Now, the fact that it's 35, I personally shoot a lot at 24. I use the 24-70 at 24, and 24 being a little bit wider, it is better when I want to do close-up shots to people when they're hugging, or when they're like greeting each other, or just a group shot and I really want to dive in and get that wide effect. You're not going to get the same thing here because it is 35. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, we're talking 35mm, and 35mm is great for street photography. It is great for everyday life, so it is by far not a drawback. The minimum focusing distance is 32 centimeters when you're wide and 85 centimeters when you're in tele mode. So you can get quite close to your subject nevertheless. It has a filter thread of 82mm for those that want to use an ND filter, a polarizing filter, and so forth. Now, in terms of size, we're talking 92.8 millimeters of width. So it is not the smallest lens you're going to get out there. Obviously, for everything that it does, it's not that bad, but it is not a small lens by all means. It is 15.5 centimeters long in wide mode and 19.6 centimeters long in tele mode. So this shows you a little bit how long it's going to get. There we go. The weight with no cap and no hood is 1.2 kilos. And that is, I would say, the biggest drawback of this lens is that it is heavy. So yes, you're getting an f2 to f2.8 maximum aperture, which is amazingly useful. But at the same time, you're getting a very heavy and hefty lens, because if you couple this with, for example, like I said, my Leica SL2s, you get around 2 kilos package, which is not the smallest or the lightest package you can get. It has a little lock button on the side here, which, as its name suggests, locks it into place. This is great for traveling when you have it in your bag, or just when you're carrying it around, so it doesn't extend by mistake and you don't damage it. Every zoom like this should have a lock, in my opinion, because you risk having it open in your bag when you're traveling, and that can be a problem. There is no tripod mount ring, so you will have to put the tripod mount on your actual body with the weight in front. It is not the heaviest lens I've tested, but it would have been great to have a little ring or something that holds the actual lens and not the body, because it puts a lot of stress on the mount. It is weather sealed on 9 different points. This is good news. If you have a weather sealed body like I have here, you can go out in the dust and or humidity without worrying too much about those elements getting into your body or your sensor. So that is a plus for this lens. Now, how is the image quality? The image quality is, I think, on par. It is very similar to what you would get with another lens. For example, my Leica 24-70 f2.8 comes really close, really close. If I show you 2 pictures side by side, you probably couldn't tell me which one was shot with what lens. So I think in terms of image quality, they did a great job. No matter if you're shooting at 35, if you're shooting at 150 or anything in between, I haven't noticed anything strange, any artifacts, any distortions, or any chromatic aberrations. So that is actually a very good thing. So who is this lens for? I think this lens is for anyone that shoots events, sport, weddings, and things like that, where you need to have all your focal lengths together and you don't have the time to swap, or you just don't want to have several lenses. And this pretty much covers the whole range. Now, if you have to go wider, I would suggest having something a little bit wider, 17-28 maybe, or a 24mm prime, or a 16, anything that's wider. But that pretty much will cover everything you will need. And the aperture of f2 to f2.8 is wide enough to have enough light and to give you an amazing bokeh when you need to, without having to worry about not having enough light. So As a wedding photographer, I can highly suggest this lens. I think if you're looking for this type of versatile lens, this is the lens for you. And for the price range, I think it is pretty darn good. See you in my next video. Don't forget to subscribe if you like this video. If you have any other question, write it down in the comment section below. I'll answer it as soon as possible, like always. Cheers.